For this next part in the process, I want to transfer this image that's been printed on the Transferiez material by InkAid onto the substrate that we prepared in the first video. And just before we get started, this is printed on InkAid transfer film, and it works specifically with this InkAid Transferiez image transfer medium. And it's kind of toxic, but it does a great job transferring to all sorts of different surfaces. So basically it mixes, the instructions are on here, mix 1 tablespoon of this to 4 fluid ounces of 91% isopropyl alcohol, which I've got here. And so I've mixed this mixture up in this jar a while ago, so I've got enough here to work with, and you can see I've left my brush in there. It's just a foam brush. And it's important that you mix it up and let it sit for 4 hours so it can thicken up before you use it. Because this is rubbing alcohol based or isopropyl alcohol based, you do want to have a well ventilated area to work in, and you do want to wear rubber gloves. So I've printed this on the transfer film with my Epson 9800 printer, and it is using pigment-based inkjet inks on this surface. And so it's important to know which side is actually the transfer side. And you can kind of tell based on the sheen, right? You can tell which side is actually the print. And you can also just dampen your finger, and if you touch it, it should be sticky on the side that is actually the transfer side. And so the way I like to do this is to set things up exactly where I want my transfer to be located. So I'm going to be careful at this stage to make sure I've got things arranged the way I want them to be. And then I'm going to use just some, I've got some tape here on the wall. So I'm going to use this yellow frog tape because it's low tack. And I'll just tape along this one edge, and that'll hold my image in place while I apply the solution to the surface. So I can just set this aside. I'm going to lay down some paper towels here because I was painting previously and I made a little bit of a mess. And I don't want to damage my materials, so I'm just going to set this aside. I'll put on my rubber gloves. Oh boy. Well, I guess I'll work with 1 glove and that'll be okay. So I'm just going to open this up. It's been a while. And I've got it sealed off a little bit here with a plastic bag. And what I want to do is very carefully apply this layer of transfer solution to my surface. And I want to do it in such a way that when I'm done, it has a nice, even sort of sheen to it. Doesn't have any areas that feel like it's not covering well. If you see areas where it feels like it's absorbing in, then you want to just keep applying more solution. You want it to feel really significantly covered. And that is, I think, what I've found to be the key to working with this and getting successful transfers, is that you just want to have this beautiful, even coat applied across the entire surface. And it's probably going to take more solution than you think it's going to. And I want to put this on and then just let it sort of sit for a little bit. And I'll pick this up and show you that it is actually covering really well over this surface. Because it's important that the solution touches every surface of the print. Otherwise, it's not going to transfer very well. Right, so I'm still going to put on just a little bit more. because I have a slight texture on this surface and I want to make sure that it's completely coated. And I'll show you what I mean with this surface here. So if I pick this up, hopefully you can see that sheen reflecting in the camera a little bit. There's a nice even coat. And after I've done that, then I'm going to take my rubber roller and I'm going to very gently start at this one edge. And I just want to squish it down so it's touching the entire surface and I don't have any bubbles whatsoever underneath this print. And I found this application process to be very successful in getting a good transfer. I'm getting a little goop on top, but I'm not going to worry about it. And then from here, you just want to just go over the entire thing and make sure that it is getting good contact. And now I'm going to wait for about 1.5 to 2 minutes before I pull this film off the surface. I'll go ahead and take this tape off in the meantime. Okay, after about 1.5 of it sitting there, I'm just going to pick up this one edge and I'm going to see if I feel like the coating is coming loose. And it feels like it is in spots. I'm going to let it sit just a little bit longer. What you should see is what we're seeing right here is it releases and it should simply be able to just roll right off of there. The edges might be a little gloopy, but I mean, this works with color prints, black and white prints like I've done here. And what you get is this kind of just perfect transferred image. And then you're left with, you know, this plastic sheet that just gets thrown in the trash. And so from here, I'm going to let this completely dry. I might take a disposable brush and sort of brush out some of this remaining goop on the sides. Something you need to be careful about when you're working with this medium is this is not stuff you want to put down the drain. Any of this solution should just be wiped up and thrown in the trash. You can let it dry outside on a towel or something like that. But it will clog up your drain. If you dump any of this solution down the drain, it will gel and clog it up. So it's not something you can mix with water very well. So for this piece to be finished, what I'm going to do is wait for this to dry completely. And then I'm going to spray this with a coat of Krylon matte finish. And then I'll finish the entire thing with a coat of acrylic gel medium, just to give it that final sort of texture that I'm looking for. And that is about it. So thank you so much for watching. I'll show the finished piece in the last part of the video. Hi, I just wanted to share with you the finished product. So I've gone ahead and applied a matte finish on here, so you can see there's no glare or sheen to this product. I love working with matte finishes. And I've taken the tape off so you can actually see the edge here has a nice sort of finished appearance to it. You get to see the wood as well as that wrapped around edge that transferred very well. So I hope you've enjoyed learning both of these techniques, both the image-based or the pigment-based image transfer using paper and acrylic gel medium, as well as the InkAid process that we use to transfer the black and white components at the end. If you've enjoyed watching this video and you feel like you've learned something and would like to see more, please subscribe, like the video, and subscribe to my channel. It really does help a lot. And I'll see you in a future video. Thank you.